My cherished child, I speak to you now with a love that transcends time, a love that was etched into the very fabric of your soul before the stars were hung in the sky. In this sacred moment, I invite you to pause, to breathe, and to let the clamor of the world fade into silence. Open your heart to the gentle cadence of my voice, for you are infinitely precious to me. I am your creator, your constant guide, and your unwavering companion, walking beside you through every valley and mountaintop. I see the weight you've been carrying, the quiet moments when you've wondered if the path I've set before you is too heavy, too demanding, too uncertain. Perhaps today, or not long ago, you felt a stirring in your spirit, a fleeting thought that the calling I've placed on your life has become more burden than blessing. I know the questions that linger in your heart. Is this truly what you've asked of me? Must obedience always feel so exhausting? Let me assure you, my beloved, that I never intended your purpose to crush your joy or your journey to steal your peace. I am here to realign your heart, to restore the rhythm of my presence, and to remind you that you are never alone. I see the passion within you, the fire I kindled to pursue the dreams I've entrusted to you. But somewhere along the way, the clarity of my voice became entangled with the pressures of the world. The world's rhythm is one of striving, of checklists and deadlines, of comparison and urgency. It whispers that you must perform to prove your worth, that you must rush to keep up, that rest is a luxury you cannot afford. But that is not my way. When I call you, I do not demand perfection or production. I invite you into a partnership, a communion where my strength flows through your surrender. The pressure you felt, whether from within or from the expectations of others, is not my voice. It is a distortion, a thief that seeks to rob you of the peace I've promised. I do not lead with guilt, shame, or anxiety. I lead with love, with a peace that anchors your soul and a presence that steadies your steps. Today, I am dismantling the lies that have crept into your journey. I am clearing the noise so you can hear me clearly once more. I am sending you yes, but not with pressure. I am sending you with peace. Consider the weight you've carried, the moments when you've questioned whether you're enough for the task I've given you. You've wondered if your hesitations, your doubts, or your slow steps have disqualified you. But let me remind you of who you are in my eyes. Before I formed you, I knew you. Before you took your first breath, I set you apart for a purpose that reflects my heart. Your identity is not rooted in your achievements or your speed. It is anchored in my love, sealed by my grace, and sustained by my presence. When I called Moses, he stammered and doubted his ability to speak. When I chose David, he was a shepherd boy, unseen by the world. When I invited Mary to sit at my feet, I honored her choice to rest in my presence over busyness. I do not choose based on human standards of readiness or perfection. I choose hearts that are willing, spirits that are open, and souls that lean into me, even when they tremble. You may have felt that obedience must always come at the cost of exhaustion, that purpose requires you to sacrifice your joy. But that is not my design. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. When I send you, I do not ask you to run until you collapse. I invite you to walk with me, to draw from my strength, and to trust my timing. The world may measure success by output, but I measure it by alignment. Are you moving in step with my spirit? Are you rooted in my peace? That is what matters. The urgency you felt, the need to prove yourself, to stay ahead, to avoid falling behind, is not from me. It is a weight you were never meant to carry. I am not a taskmaster, pacing impatiently for results. I am your Father, walking beside you, delighting in your willingness to listen, to trust, and to take the next step, no matter how small. Let me take you back to the moment when you first sensed my call. Perhaps it was a quiet whisper in your heart, a dream that felt too big to hold, or a conviction that stirred your soul. That call was not a demand for performance. It was an invitation to partnership, a promise that I would be with you every step of the way. But over time, the purity of that call became clouded by expectations, some from others, some from yourself. You began to equate faithfulness with constant motion, purpose with endless effort. You wondered if slowing down meant failing me. But hear me now. I am not disappointed in your pace. I am not frustrated by your questions or your need for rest. I am captivated by your heart, by the way you keep turning toward me, even when the path feels unclear. That is what I honor. That is what I multiply. The pressure you felt is not a sign of devotion. It is a signal that something is misaligned. Pressure tells you to strive harder, to do more, to be more. But I tell you to abide in me. Fruitfulness comes from remaining connected to me, not from outrunning your limits. When I sent my son to walk the earth, he moved with sacred intention. He paused to heal, to listen, to rest. He withdrew to pray, even when the crowds demanded his attention. If the Savior of the world embraced rest, why would I ask you to live in perpetual urgency? My rhythm is one of grace, of seasons, of balance. There are times for bold action, yes, but even those moments must be rooted in peace. Peace is not passivity. It is presence. It is the assurance that I am with you, guiding you, sustaining you, and working through you. I know the fears that have crept into your journey. You've worried about missing your moment, about falling short of my plans, about disappointing those who look to you. But let me assure you, you cannot miss what I have ordained. My plans for you are not fragile, dependent on your flawless execution. They are sovereign, upheld by my grace. I am not bound by your timelines or limited by your detours. I redeem time, I restore what was lost, and I accelerate what I breathe upon. The delays you've perceived as failures were often my hand protecting you, preparing you, and teaching you to trust me more deeply. You are not behind, my child. You are right where I need you to be, learning to move in my rhythm, not the world's. Let's address the pressure directly. It has worn many disguises: duty, excellence, responsibility. But at its core, it is a lie that your worth depends on your output. It tells you that rest is laziness, that stillness is stagnation, that slowing down means you're less faithful. But I created you with limits, not as a flaw, but as a feature. Your need for rest is a reminder that you were made to depend on me. When I rested on the seventh day, I set a pattern for you. Rest is not a reward for finishing your work. It is a foundation for doing it well. When you rest in me, you allow my spirit to replenish your soul, to clarify your vision, and to strengthen your steps. Pressure, on the other hand, depletes you. It clouds your hearing, distorts your perspective, and convinces you that peace is something you must earn. But peace is your inheritance, given freely through my Son. You start from peace, not strive toward it. I see the moments when you've tried to carry more than I asked. You've taken on expectations that were never mine, compared yourself to others, and measured your progress by standards I never set. But I am not keeping score. I am not tallying your accomplishments or critiquing your pace. I am walking with you, delighting in your willingness to say yes, even when your voice trembles. I am not a God of checklists or deadlines. I am a God of relationship, of process, of transformation. When I sent Elijah to the brook, I told him to wait, to be still, to trust my provision. That waiting was not wasted. It was preparation. So it is with you, the moments of stillness, of questioning, of seeking me. They are shaping you for what lies ahead. You may wonder how to move forward without pressure, how to pursue your calling without falling back into striving. The answer is simple yet profound. Stay close to me. My spirit is your guide, my word is your light, and my peace is your compass. When you feel the familiar pull of urgency, pause and listen for my voice. I will not shout over the noise. I will speak in the stillness, drawing you back to alignment. Trust that I am working, even when you cannot see it. Trust that my timing is perfect, even when it feels slow. Trust that I am enough, even when you feel inadequate. You are not the source of your calling. I am. You are not the sustainer of your purpose. I am. Your role is to abide, to listen, and to take the next step I show you, no matter how small. Let me paint a picture of what it looks like to walk in my peace. Imagine stepping into a room filled with chaos, voices raised, tensions high, everyone rushing to prove their point. Now imagine carrying my peace within you, a stillness that shifts the atmosphere without a word. Your presence, anchored in me, brings clarity where there was confusion, calm where there was strife. You don't need to shout or compete. You simply need to be. That is the power of peace. It is not weakness. It is authority. It is not inaction. It is alignment. When you move in my peace, you carry my presence, and my presence changes everything. This is what I've called you to. Not to perform, but to reflect me. Not to strive, but to shine. I know the journey has not been easy. You faced storms that tested your faith, betrayals that wounded your heart, and only you can proceed from here as the response has reached its maximum length.